The emergency beacon cut through space like a desperate whisper. Captain Marcus Kane stood on the bridge of the Terran starship Defiance, watching the decoded message scroll across his tactical display. The words were alien, translated by the ship's advanced computer systems, but their meaning was universal. "Help us. They are coming. Our children. Please, someone hear us." Kane's weathered face showed no emotion, but his hands gripped the command rail tighter. In his 30 years of service to Earth's defense fleet, he had seen many distress calls. This one was different. The signal came from the Nexari system, 47 light-years from Earth, in a sector where no human had ever traveled. "Sir," called Communications Officer Beth Rivers from her station. "The signal is getting weaker. Whatever's happening out there, it's almost over." Kane nodded grimly. The Nexari were one of the few alien species that Earth had established peaceful contact with through long-range communications. They were a gentle people, farmers and scientists who had never known war. Their planet, Nexaros, was home to 12 million souls. "Captain," Lieutenant Commander David Park approached with a data pad. "I've analyzed the transmission. The attack began 6 hours ago. Based on the energy signatures we're detecting, the aggressors are using plasma bombardment weapons. Military grade, probably from a fleet." Kane studied the readings. Whoever was attacking the Nexari wasn't interested in conquest. The weapon pattern suggested complete annihilation. This was genocide. "Sir, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth Command," Rivers announced. The holographic image of Admiral Patricia Voss appeared on the bridge. Her expression was stern, unforgiving. "Captain Kane, you are ordered to maintain your current patrol route. The situation in the Nexari system is not our concern." Kane's jaw tightened. "Admiral, with respect, we're talking about the extinction of an entire species. The Nexari have been peaceful neighbors." "They are aliens, Captain. Our responsibility is to protect human colonies and interests. Earth Command has voted. We do not interfere in alien conflicts." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in uncomfortable silence. Kane stared at the dying signal from Nexaros, knowing that every second of delay meant more innocent lives lost. Chief Engineer Tom Bradley emerged from the lower deck. "Captain, I couldn't help but overhear. The ship is ready for whatever you decide." Kane looked around at his crew. These weren't politicians or bureaucrats. They were soldiers who had sworn to protect the innocent. In their eyes, he saw the same fire that burned in his own heart. "Rivers, send a coded message to all human ships in this sector. Tell them Captain Marcus Kane is making a call to conscience. Any ship willing to stand against genocide is welcome to join us." "Sir, that's direct violation of orders," Park warned. Kane smiled grimly. "Sometimes doing what's right means breaking what's wrong. Bradley, how long to reach the Nexari system at maximum fold?" 18 hours, Captain." "Then we have 18 hours to gather a fleet of volunteers." Kane turned to face his crew. "I won't order anyone to come with us. This is bigger than rank or duty. This is about who we are as human beings." One by one, every officer on the bridge stepped forward. Within 4 hours, 7 more ships had joined the Defiance. They came from different colonies, different backgrounds, but they shared one thing: the belief that some battles must be fought, regardless of the cost. As the small fleet prepared to jump into fold space, Kane received one final transmission. From the Nexari system, it was just 2 words, repeated over and over in a dozen alien languages. "They're gone." Kane's eyes hardened. They might be too late to save Nexaros, but whoever did this would learn that humanity did not ignore cries for help. The galaxy was about to discover what happened when Earth's children decided to answer a call for justice. The stars streaked past as 8 human warships vanished into the darkness, carrying with them the fury of an entire species. The human fleet emerged from fold space at the edge of the Nexari system, like ghosts materializing from a nightmare. Captain Kane stood silent on the bridge of the Defiance, staring at the tactical display that showed the horror before them. Nexaros burned. The once blue planet now glowed orange with massive fires visible from orbit. Debris fields of destroyed cities drifted in space like metallic snow. Around the dying world, alien warships moved in precise formations, their hulls black as midnight and twice the size of human vessels. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Commander Park. "The entire planetary surface is scorched." Communications officer, Rivers worked frantically at her station. "Captain, I'm detecting faint life signs in underground shelters. Maybe a few thousand survivors scattered across the continents." Kane's hands clenched into fists. They weren't too late for everyone. "Sir, we're being scanned," reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Zoe Reeves, a sharp-eyed woman who had joined them from the mining ship Prospector. "Those alien vessels are moving to intercept us." On the main screen, 3 of the black warships broke from their orbital positions and accelerated toward the human fleet. They were sleek, predatory, with weapon ports that glowed like angry red eyes. "All ships, this is Kane. Maintain formation, but prepare for contact. Let's see what we're dealing with." The lead alien vessel transmitted a message in a harsh, guttural language. The ship's computer struggled to translate before finally displaying the words, "Primitive beings. Withdraw or be destroyed. This system belongs to the Vorthak Empire." Kane stepped forward. "Open a channel." He faced the view screen with steel in his voice. "This is Captain Marcus Kane of the Terran Defense Fleet. You have committed genocide against a peaceful species. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The response came as laughter, cold and mocking. "Humans, we have heard of your kind. Weak builders who hide behind their small worlds. You are insects compared to Vorthak." Might. The transmission cut off, and the 3 alien ships opened fire. Plasma bolts screamed across space, but the human fleet was ready. The Defiance rolled hard to starboard while the escort ship Vengeance returned fire with kinetic railguns. The tungsten rounds struck the lead Vorthak vessel's shields, causing ripples of energy but no visible damage. "Their shields are stronger than ours," Reeves reported, "but they're slow to turn. Their ships are built for overwhelming firepower, not maneuverability." Kane smiled grimly. "Then we'll dance around them. Bradley, give me everything the engines have got." The human ships scattered like startled birds, using their superior speed and agility to stay ahead of the devastating plasma cannons. The Defiance dove under the enemy formation while the corvette Lightning climbed high, both ships firing continuously. Lieutenant Zoe Reeves launched her fighter squadron from the carrier Falcon. 12 small, fast interceptors swarmed around the massive Vorthak ships like angry wasps. Their micromissiles couldn't penetrate the alien shields, but they drew fire, away from the larger vessels. "This is Reeves to all fighters. Target their sensor arrays. Blind them and our big ships can get closer." The dogfight was fierce but brief. Human fighters danced between plasma bursts, their pilots pushing their machines to the limits. 2 interceptors were lost, but they accomplished their mission. The lead Vorthak ship's sensors went dark. The Defiance seized the opportunity, diving close to the enemy vessel's hull. At point-blank range, Bradley fired the ship's experimental fusion torpedo directly into the alien ship's engine section. The explosion lit up space like a newborn star. As the first Vorthak ship died, its 2 companions retreated toward the main fleet. Kane watched them go, his expression grim. They had won this skirmish, but the real battle was just beginning. "Sir," Rivers called out, "I'm receiving a transmission from the planet's surface. It's weak, but someone down there is still alive." Kane nodded. "Put it through." The voice that emerged was alien but filled with unmistakable hope. "Unknown. Ships, are you here to help us, please? The Vorthak return soon with more vessels. Our people. So few left." Kane's voice carried across space like a promise. "This is Captain Kane of Earth. We're here to help. Hold on just a little longer." The human fleet moved toward Nixaros, carrying with them the hopes of a dying world. The human shuttle descended through Nexaros's smoky atmosphere, its hull glowing red from the heat of burning cities below. Captain Kane sat in the pilot's seat, his knuckles white as he navigated between floating debris and ash clouds. Beside him, Chief Engineer Bradley monitored the ship's systems, while Lieutenant Reeves kept watch for any Vorthak ground forces. Landing. Zone confirmed, Reeves reported. I'm reading life signs in the underground complex approximately 2 kilometers from our position. The shuttle touched down on what had once been a beautiful city square. Now it was a crater filled with twisted metal and broken stone. The air outside was thick with smoke, forcing the humans to wear breathing masks as they stepped onto the alien world. Kane led his small team through the ruins, following the signal from the Nexari survivors. The devastation was complete. Buildings that had stood for centuries were reduced to rubble. Gardens that had fed families were now fields of ash. Captain. Bradley pointed to strange markings carved into a destroyed wall. Those symbols weren't made by weapons. Someone carved them after the attack. Kane studied the markings. They formed a pattern, almost like an arrow pointing downward. A message from the survivors. They're showing us the way. The entrance to the underground shelter was hidden beneath the collapsed remains of what looked like a library. Kane's team cleared the debris, revealing a metal door that had been sealed from the inside. "This is Captain Kane of the Terran Fleet," he called out. "We received your distress signal. We're here to help." The door opened slowly, and a figure emerged from the darkness. The being was tall and thin, with pale blue skin and large, intelligent eyes. Despite the dirt and exhaustion on its face, Kane could see the dignity that had not been broken by the Vorthak attack. "I am Elder Thyman." The alien spoke in accented but clear English. I cannot believe you came. Humans, from the distant Earth. We thought no one would answer our call." Kane removed his helmet, showing his face as a sign of respect. "We came as soon as we could. How many survivors are with you?" 3,000, maybe less. We have children, elderly, wounded. The Vorthak showed no mercy. They killed anyone who tried to surrender." Thyman's voice shook with grief and anger. Bradley stepped forward. "Elder Thyman, we've studied your transmissions. Your people developed energy shields decades ago, yet the Vorthak weapons cut through them like paper. How is that possible?" Thyman led them deeper into the shelter, where Kane saw dozens of Nexari huddled together. Their large eyes followed the humans with a mixture of hope and fear. "The Vorthak have been conquering worlds for 1,000 years, Thyman explained. "They adapt their weapons to overcome any defense. What we thought would protect us only delayed our destruction by ours." Reeves examined the shelter's defensive systems. "Captain, look at this. Their technology is actually more advanced than ours in some ways, but they never developed military applications. They're a peaceful species." Kane nodded grimly. That was exactly what made the Vorthak attack so horrific. "Elder Thyman, we need to evacuate your people to safety, but first I need to know something. Are there other worlds under attack? Other species that need help?" Thyman's expression grew even darker. "The Vorthak Empire spans hundreds of systems. They enslave species that are useful, destroy those that resist. In the past year alone, they have conquered 12 worlds. No one has ever fought back successfully." "Until now," Kane said firmly. "But Captain," Thyman protested, "you don't understand. By helping us, you have made Earth an enemy of the Vorthak Empire. They will not forget. They will not forgive. Your world is in danger now because of us." Kane placed a hand on the alien elder's shoulder. "Thyman, humanity has a saying. Evil triumphs when good people do nothing. We didn't come here expecting gratitude or safety. We came because it was right." Elder Thyman stared at Kane for a long moment, then spoke words that would be remembered in galactic history. "Perhaps the galaxy has been waiting for humans to arrive. Perhaps you are the answer to all our prayers." Outside, the human fleet maintained orbit around Nexaros, preparing for the storm that was coming. The Vorthak Empire had ruled through fear for centuries, but they had never faced an enemy like humanity before. The galaxy was about to change forever. The Vorthak armada arrived like a plague of locusts, blotting out the stars. Captain Kane watched from the bridge of the Defiance as 47 enemy warships dropped out of fold space, their massive hulls bristling with weapons that could turn planets to glass. "Sir, they're transmitting," Communications Officer Rivers reported, her voice tight with tension. On the main screen appeared a creature that embodied nightmare. The Vorthak commander had 6 arms, each ending in razor-sharp claws, and eyes like burning coals. When it spoke, its voice was filled with ancient hatred. Humans, you have interfered in Vorthak business for the last time. Surrender now, and we will make your deaths quick. Resist, and we will hunt down every human world and burn them to ash. Kane stepped forward, his voice steady as steel. This is Captain Marcus Kane. The only thing burning today will be your ships. We don't surrender to monsters. The transmission cut off, and space erupted into hell. Plasma beams lanced across the void like deadly lightning. The human fleet, now numbering 12 ships after reinforcements from nearby colonies, scattered into attack formations. They were outnumbered 4-1, but Kane had a plan. All ships execute Pattern Delta. Bradley launched the surprise packages. From hidden bays in the human vessels, dozens of small objects shot into space. They looked like simple cargo pods, but each one contained something the Vorthak had never seen before. Human ingenuity weaponized. Lieutenant Zoe Reeves led her expanded fighter squadron in a desperate charge toward the enemy flagship. Plasma bursts filled space around her interceptor, but she flew like a woman possessed. Behind her, 23 other pilots followed her into the storm of fire. All fighters, target the command ship's communication arrays. If we can cut off their coordination, the fleet becomes 47 separate targets instead of one unified force. The dogfight was brutal. Vorthak interceptors, twice the size of human fighters, moved to engage them. But the human pilots had trained for this moment their entire lives. They flew patterns that seemed impossible, using every trick they had, learned in the asteroid fields of the outer colonies. Fighter pilot Jessica Storm dove her interceptor through a gap in the enemy formation that was barely wider than her ship. Her wingman, rookie pilot Danny Cross, followed her lead as they strafed the flagship's communication towers with precision laser fire. Meanwhile, Sergeant Mike Torres led a boarding party from the assault ship Hammer. Using experimental breach pods, his Marines crashed directly into the hull of a Vorthak destroyer. What they found inside shocked them. Hundreds of aliens from different species, all chained and enslaved. Captain Kane, this is Torres. These ships aren't just warships. They're slave carriers. The Vorthak are using prisoners as manual laborers. Kane's voice crackled over the comm. Free them, Sergeant. Every soul you can save. The tide of battle began to turn when Bradley's surprise packages activated. The cargo pods split open, revealing automated gun platforms equipped with human AI. They moved like a swarm of mechanical sharks, targeting the Vorthak ship's weak points with surgical precision. But the real game-changer came when Elder Thymon's voice echoed across all human communication channels. Human warriors, the Nexari remember our ancient defense systems. We can help you win this battle. From the planet's surface, massive energy cannons that had been dormant for centuries suddenly came online. The Nexari had rebuilt their orbital defenses using human engineering principles combined with their own advanced technology. The Vorthak fleet found themselves caught between the human ships above and the planetary defenses below. For the first time in their 1,000-year reign of terror, they were losing. The enemy commander's ship, damaged and burning, attempted to retreat. But Lieutenant Reeves had other plans. Her fighter squadron surrounded the massive vessel like wolves surrounding a wounded giant. This is for every world you destroyed, she whispered, firing her last torpedo directly into the ship's reactor core. The explosion lit up the Nexaro system like a second sun. As the surviving Vorthak ships fled in disorder, Kane surveyed the IED battlefield. They had lost 3 ships and too many good people, but they had achieved something no one thought possible. They had defeated the Vorthak Empire in open battle. Elder Thymon's voice came across the communication channel filled with wonder. Captain Kane, in one day you have done what we could not do in 1,000 years. You have shown the galaxy that the Vorthak can be beaten. Kane looked out at the stars, knowing that this was just the beginning. Word of this victory would spread across the galaxy like wildfire, and every enslaved species would know that hope had finally arrived. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as liberators. 3 months after the Battle of Nexaros, Captain Marcus Kane stood in the rebuilt council chamber of the Nexari capital. The room buzzed with voices speaking dozens of alien languages as representatives from across the galaxy gathered for a historic moment. Elder Thyman approached Kane, his pale blue skin now healthy and his eyes bright with hope. "Captain, I still cannot believe how much has changed. The Vorthak Empire is crumbling. 17 worlds have declared independence in the past month alone." Kane nodded, watching as delegates from liberated planets took their seats. The Zephyrians with their crystalline skin, the Milani with their flowing tentacles, the rock-like Gorvani who communicated through harmonic vibrations, all species that had lived under Vorthak oppression for generations. "The victory at Nexaros was just the beginning," Kane replied. "Word spread faster than we expected. Every enslaved world now knows that the Empire can be defeated." Communications Officer Rivers approached with a datapad. "Captain, we've received responses to your proposal from 43 star systems. They're all requesting human assistance in liberation efforts." Kane studied the list. Each name represented millions of beings crying out for freedom. The weight of responsibility sat heavy on his shoulders. Lieutenant Zoe Reeves entered the chamber, now wearing the insignia of a full commander. Her fighter squadron had become legendary across the galaxy, inspiring alien pilots to take up arms against their oppressors. "Sir, the Defiance is ready for departure." The Corvani system sent another distress call. The Vorthak are attempting to recapture their mining colonies there. Before Kane could respond, a new voice echoed through the chamber. It was ancient, wise, and carried the authority of eons. "Captain Marcus Kane of Earth." The speaker was a being unlike any they had encountered, tall and ethereal, with skin that seemed to shift between silver and gold. It wore robes that sparkled, like starlight. This was Ambassador Kelthera of the Galactic Council, the oldest governing body in known space. "Ambassador," Kane said respectfully, "I wasn't expecting council representation." Kelthera's expression was unreadable. "For 3,000 years, the Galactic Council has maintained peace through neutrality. We have watched civilizations rise and fall, including the Vorthak Empire's reign of terror. We believed that interference would only breed more chaos." The chamber fell silent. Every being present understood the significance of this moment. "Captain Kane, your species has accomplished something we thought impossible. You have united dozens of worlds against a common enemy. You have proven that sometimes neutrality is not wisdom, it is cowardice." Kane felt the weight of history in those words. The Galactic Council formally invites humanity to join as a founding member of a new alliance, not as subjects, but as equals. Your military expertise combined with the scientific knowledge of our member worlds could bring true peace to the galaxy. Elder Thyman stepped forward. "The Nexari pledge our loyalty to this alliance. Humanity saved us when no one else would. We will stand with Earth against any threat." One by one, delegates from across the chamber rose to their feet. The Zephyrians pledged their advanced medical technology. The Milani offered their expertise in energy manipulation. The Gorvani promised their unbreakable mineral compounds for ship construction. Commander Reeves whispered to Kane, "Sir, they're offering us the resources of half the galaxy." Kane looked around the chamber at faces filled with hope that humanity had given them. But he also saw the responsibility that came with such trust. "Ambassador Kelthara, we accept the Council's invitation, but with conditions. This alliance must be built on the principle that no being should live in slavery or fear. Every world, no matter how small or weak, deserves protection." The ancient being smiled for the first time anyone could remember. "Captain, those are exactly the principles we hoped you would demand." As the formal ceremonies began, Kane received a priority message from Earth. Admiral Voss appeared on his personal communicator, her expression no longer stern but filled with pride. "Captain Kane, Earth Command has officially endorsed your actions. You are hereby promoted to Admiral and given command of the new Galactic Defense Force. Your orders are simple. Protect the innocent wherever they may be. Kane looked out through the chamber's great window at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, the remnants of the Vorthak Empire were regrouping. Other threats would emerge, but for the first time in galactic history, the free peoples of the universe stood united. Humanity had answered the galaxy's call for help and, in doing so, had found their true purpose among the stars. The age of human isolation was over. The age of galactic brotherhood had begun,